Hey there and welcome back to Sims Sunday. My name is Pete and in this series we try to complete The Sims 3. Now, as you might be able to hear, my voice sounds a bit rough today, and that's because I have a slight cold, nothing too serious, but it's the reason this episode will be a bit shorter than usual. Anyway, let's get into things and we begin today's episode with Pauline. She can grab some breakfast and because it's the weekend and she doesn't have to go to school, we have a lot of skill learning planned for her. So after breakfast, she can quickly clean up the dining room area and then hop onto the treadmill to improve her athletic skill. That skill is by far the most important one in the criminal career, so we should get that up a bit higher, and for that reason we will have her work out until she's fatigued. Getting up next is Paul, whose main task today is talking his boss into a promotion. As you might remember, we tried that last episode but failed because his boss was invisible. So with a new day and maybe more importantly also the game restarted between sessions, that is hopefully fixed now. So let's have Paul visit his boss and see if we can't work something out. In the meantime, Chastity has also gotten up and grabbed breakfast. And Ayesha is also awake and on her way to another collecting trip.
Whoa! Aw, Kubanu's up now.
And let's also change her outfit, because I know there are a few among you who don't like her to go out in her nightdress. Now back over to Paul, and as we can see, the invisibility bug still exists. His boss should be standing somewhere around here, but for some reason he seems sunken into the floor. Okay, I think I fixed it. Resetting the sim with the console did not work, but what actually did work was going into edit town mode, remove him from the household and then put him back in. That apparently recalculated a few things and now Joseph Crooks is waiting for us outside, fully visible. At home, Patrick has also gotten up and with the weekend off he can finally get back to his garden. We neglected that a bit in the last few episodes and just took care of the harvesting, but today Patrick can spend a bit of time here. Spending a bit of time is a good point. Chastity will spend the next 4 hours in front of the computer. I would like her to work from home for a while to make sure she gets that promotion next time. So back to Paul, the conversation here is going along rather well, but the conversation option to ask for a promotion or a raise haven't appeared so far. Okay, good half hour of talking later, still no success, so I think we'll have Paul go back home for now. But we are not giving up on the promotion thing just yet, because just after arriving home we can now invite Joseph Crooks over. Maybe the change of scenery will help. At the same time, Pauline finishes her workout. She did not quite make it to level 3, but at least now that will be easy to get next time. She can now take a shower while Paul can grab the mail. And Patrick has finished his tour through the garden and can now prepare himself something to eat. I once again removed and replanted a few things, but I issued those commands off screen. It's not like you haven't seen that before. To kill a bit of time until his guest arrives, Paul can now play with the Sim Life goggles, while Pauline heads off and teleports herself over to the library. With the athletic skill taken care of for today, we can now focus on the logic skill next. And we will now have her read the logic skill book for pretty much the rest of the day. Back at home, Joseph has arrived, and that means we can now start the whole process again. In the meantime, Patrick has taken a shower and can now finally go to eat something. He just left his salad standing on the kitchen counter. And Chastity has finished working from home and will now teleport herself over to the park. She will play for tips here for roughly 1.5 hours, then it will be 3 PM and that means we can begin giving concerts. And Chastity does need to get her performance counter up. And it does in fact seem like the hunt for promotions is finally over. For some reason Paul can now ask Joseph for a promotion, so let's do that. Wonderful, that seems to be a success. Paul is now a lieutenant. That means once the next promotion comes in, we can choose the forensic analyst career branch and then hopefully complete that pretty soon. He does get a reward for this promotion as well, and that is another police cruiser. So let's park that in the garage for the moment. Afterwards, Paul and Joseph can part ways, and Paul can begin to read a book for an opportunity. That opportunity will boost his career performance, and now that he is freshly promoted, that of course makes sense. On the other end of the table, Patrick can also begin to read, and he can improve his handiness skill.
With nerd.
Over in the park, Chastity can stop playing for tips now. She earned herself the grand sum of 74 simoleons, and she can now run over to the theater to play a concert. By the way, a bit confusing here, Saturday seems to be a work day for her, but in her work tab it says that the next shift starts in 3 days and 6 hours. So I'm not quite sure whether or not she will actually have a shift today.
Kazib! Noob!
At home, Paul has finished the book, but we will do a bit more preparation for the next shift and have him work from home for 4 hours. That might seem a bit overkill, but after the hassle we just went through to get this promotion, I don't want to risk anything. As Chastity finishes her first performance, Patrick improves his handiness skill to level 6, and he will now go fishing. In the meantime, Chastity has started another performance. Patrick is now fishing for minnow. Luckily we have those on our home lot, and we want to catch a few of those because those are the bait for piranha, and that's the fish that we will then catch next. Then Ayesha returns from a long day of collecting. She has also collected a few gems, so she's currently sending those away to be cut. And then she can raise her fun bar with the Sim Life goggles. Outside of the theater, Chastity has now completed her second performance, and a few minutes ago I received the message that her carpool would arrive soon, so I somewhat falsely assumed that she did in fact have a shift today. For that reason I decided to have her play with the Sim Life goggles here. Those are portable and therefore a great way to raise your fun bar wherever you are. At home, Paul's 4 hours of working have come to an end, and he can now spend the rest of the evening finishing his novel. At the theater, the mobile mood management for Chastity continues. She can now eat a tomato to fill her hunger bar, at least halfway, and then I discovered that we can't send her to work today. So all of that was more or less for nothing. Well, let's make the best out of a bad situation and have her perform another concert. Apparently she still doesn't have enough of those. At home with Patrick we can quickly sell a few money tree harvests, and then with 7 minnow in his inventory teleport him over to another fishing site. Right here he will now go for piranha, because those are then the bait for robot fish, and that is the only fish that we haven't caught so far. We can then continue to sell a bit, this time the car that I believe Chastity brought into the household. With the new police cruiser we now have a faster alternative, and we also still have the car that Pauline has stolen. With her fun bar filled, Ayesha is now back on a quick night collecting tour, while Pauline's curfew is starting in 1 hour and she's also getting pretty hungry, so let's have her stop learning the logic skill and send her back home. At home she can then grab some dinner, which is also what I have scheduled for Chastity, who has just finished her third concert. After dinner, Pauline can now go to bed. Chastity can grab something to eat, and Ayesha can also get some rest. And while Chastity is cleaning up, Paul finally finishes his novel. He also completes a wish in the process, and on top of that, the fiction novel that he just wrote is once again a bestseller. Both him and Chastity can now also go to bed, and that leaves us with only Patrick, who in the meantime has developed the wish to catch 10 piranha. We are currently at 9, and here we are, that is number 10. I originally thought about pushing him to level 10 in the fishing skill as well, but he's getting both tired and hungry and there will be a lot more fishing still to come. So we will now also have him eat a tomato and then send him home. And that is where we make the cut in today's episode. Don't forget, the straw poll for Ayesha's ghost is still online. If you have not yet voted on the type of ghost you want Ayesha to eventually become, then feel free to go to that link that is now on screen and also in the description and vote for your preferred ghost color. Thank you all for watching, and I'll see you next time. Cheers.